Hey everyone, and welcome to Bassman Studio. Today's Bassman Studio video is going to be about me explaining my process of research and reference. When we create a work of art, we need a reference. We usually use pictures or any sketches that we might have done, anything to give us help into our finished product, right? So that's something that you have to practice, and you have to get used to getting reference and doing your research, depending on how complicated your subject is. So sometimes I would hire a model and take pictures of the model, or I would find pictures online, or go and do my research in a museum. So I'm going to explain all that, and I'm going to show you some work that I've done related to the research that I've done. So sit back and relax, and welcome to this episode of Bassman Studio. Now, in regard to what I was saying in the beginning of this video, reference and research is very important. Now, the drawing behind me is a rather large-scale drawing I did for someone, and the theme is an Egyptian theme. So for this drawing, I did my research, and what I did was I went to two major museums here in New York, the Metropolitan Museum of Art and the Brooklyn Museum. When I went to the Metropolitan Museum, I went to their Egyptian wing, where I drew from Egyptian sculpture and artifacts, and also looked at Egyptian decorative motifs, just to give me an idea of patterns and even architectural elements that I could use in the drawing. When I went to the Brooklyn Museum, I did the same thing, focusing on Egyptian sculpture. I also researched Egyptology and Egypt history, just to give me an idea of what I wanted to do. In the process of doing that, my idea for this drawing changed slightly. So you have to be okay with that. That could happen when you're in the middle of doing research for a drawing or a painting. So be okay with changes that could happen, that could occur. So once I've done that and I had all my research and I was very focused on what I was doing, then I could start the finished drawing. I did numerous sketches, numerous ideas for it, until I arrived at the composition that I was satisfied with. Then I started the finished drawing. You want to start the finish with a clear mind. You don't want to start not knowing what you're going to do. So just make sure that everything is exactly what you want it to do. Map everything out if possible. Put the composition in order, and then you could start your drawing with a clear mind. Now, with regard to my lithographs, now lithography, which I've never spoken of, I believe, in any of my YouTube videos, is a long process in printmaking, requiring you to draw on a stone and etch the stone and then print it. So in future videos, I will touch more about the technical aspects of printing lithographs. So behind me is one print I've done from a stone from my recent lithograph of Springtime. And you can see it's a rather complicated composition with a lot of detail, a lot of animals and a figure. So for this lithograph, which took me months to create, I actually hired a model for this figure and got a lot of reference for animals and background. And I put them all together like a mosaic into a composition that I was satisfied with. Once I was satisfied with the composition, I could start finishing the drawing. So remember, like anything as complicated as this in composition, perhaps you do need more reference than you think you need, right? So you don't want to inundate yourself with too much reference, but get enough that you're comfortable with, that you could actually start a finished drawing. Many of my lithographs are the same. My mermaid lithograph, which sometimes you see in the background of my intros in my videos, also took a lot of reference, and I actually hired a model for that as well. So as much as I used my imagination for some elements of that lithograph, I also made sure I got a model to pose for it, so I knew exactly what the lighting would be like. Because sometimes lighting could be kind of complicated when it hits a figure and an object, so you want to make sure the lighting is correct. So don't be afraid to hire models. Have your friends pose for you sometimes, like I've done that, just to see how light hits a face in terms of anatomy, what the anatomy looks like, what a pose looks like. So all of these things are very important so that you could create a finished drawing, painting, or print. Well, thank you for watching that latest video from Bassman Studio. I hope you've learned something about reference and research in terms of drawing and painting. Stay tuned for new videos of Bassman Studio, which are coming up very soon. And please, if you haven't already, please subscribe to my channel, Bassman Studio, to see new videos. And also, any questions or comments you may have, please leave them in the comments section. And if, again, I ask if there's something you'd like me to do a video of, an art lesson that I haven't covered, please let me know, and I will certainly consider it. And again, any questions about teaching, any art lessons, any art techniques you'd like to know about, please let me know. And again, thank you for watching. Go out there and create. Don't be afraid of being expressive. Create some great art. And I'll see you next time on Bassman Studio.